We back for another episode of the new show, but this one is going to be a little different than the usual. Since this is the Anime Expo episode, we're going to be starting off there and then make our way to the usual segments. July was hella packed, so we're going to skip the formalities and get on with the anime recap. So aside from the biohazard and awful staff this year at Anime Expo, which is too much to get into, we got new anime from Crunchyroll. Those being adaptations of the Korean manhwa Solo Leveling and the 4-komo rom-com Tomo-Chan is a Girl. First off, Solo Leveling. I'm cautious on this one since their last takes on Korean manhwa, The God of High School and Tower of God, had some issues. CR decided to release a lot of info on the staff working on it at A1 Pictures. Nice of them, but actually looking into these guys doesn't shake off the nerves. The only other thing directed by Shinsuke Nakashige being the ecchi harem mother of the goddess dormitory. The head writer is behind Gundam Build Divers and Nyaruko Crawling with Love, not a fan of this one, with the character designer doing Alice in Borderland, which in my opinion isn't great, and Frag Time. The only one from the staff that has a solid history is the composer being the legendary Hiroyuki Sawano, who you've heard in Attack on Titan, Kill la Kill, and a bunch of other stuff. If you read the synopsis and look at the trailers for the original webtoon, it seems like a mismatch, which is why you guys may want to go into this with some tempered expectation. Since it's originally a Korean manhwa, despite me not reading it, I'd recommend you guys check it out yourself since it's a very different experience compared to manga. The format is based on scrolling through the panels on a computer screen or a phone. I've always heard the material is great, so if you're interested and have never read a Korean webcomic, now looks like a good time to do so. I do know a lot more about the next one since I've been recommended it and even peeped it. Tomo-Chan is a girl. This one is really simple. A tomboy love story where the dude only sees her as a bro. The goal is to get him to fall for her. The manga is pretty short, being 8 volumes, and with the simple format, it's pretty likely the anime will cover the whole story. Studio Leidus is working on it, who have a great track record with Oh Maiden in Your Savage Season and the Magi Sinbad spin-off. Hitoshi Namba is directing, whose previous work include Gothic, Hajime no Ippo, and Golden Kamuy. Jesus? Megumi Shimizu is head writer who recently did the villainous isekai but also did Soul Eater and Snow White with the red hair. Insert other Val reaction here. And Masaru Yokoyama composing the music, who did Horimiya and Gundam IBO. And Gundam IBO, okay, whoa there, that is a lot. That is very stacked for this show, and it kind of feels like the staff for both got mixed up, because if I didn't say the titles, you'd expect it to be the other way around. From the two, Tomo is what I'm more interested in, but I hope Solo Leveling will be good too, since I don't want fans to be disappointed. We're gonna have to wait for the beginning of 2023 to see both. This next one is more an update. During the Jujutsu Kaisen staff panel, where it was originally reported that Sungwoo Park was working on season 2. The panel wasn't recorded, so based on the audio said during it, we got a play-by-play from Anime News Network. This was an error. The statement was later removed, so it's still up in the air if he's actually a part of the production. The initial version of the article got the most views when the update came sometime later. Sungwoo is currently busy with Ninja Kamui at his own studio, so I'd be surprised with him juggling Jujutsu Kaisen on top of that. If you're a fan, sucks that I had to break the news for you like this, but it's better than not knowing. I still think it'll be good because it's Mappa, and it's not like he was the sole person that made the first season and movie good. There are loads of talented people that are crunched over there, so I'm pretty sure it'll be in good hands. Some quickies. A Silent Voice is going to be getting a US re-release in theaters to celebrate the 5th anniversary. It's going to take place on October 12th, so if you haven't seen it yet, now would be the perfect time, since you'll be able to see KyoAni goodness on the big screen. We'll give you guys a heads up when we're closer to release, unlike what I did for Inuo, cause I forgot. Won't happen again, I promise. House of the Lost by 11 Arts is gonna be in theaters soon on September 7th, so check it out if it seems up your alley. Trailer will be linked below. And finally, the most chef-kiss announcement from Anime Expo came from the Warner Bros. Industry panel, which they were teasing as something big. Obviously in relation to JoJo Part 6, which has been in Netflix jail for almost a year at this point. After waiting that long, we'll be getting 12 more episodes in September.
Oh, you laugh, it's funny.
Reminder that this was in July, so they were announcing that you'd still have to wait another 2 months just for another batch of episodes. They somehow outdid my prediction of announcing 12 episodes for later that month, which is impressive. It's pretty hilarious that WB was so confident about this that they announced it at Anime Expo. It's also just sad since the only ones hurting are the fans of the series that just want JoJo Fridays back, and I think this was their way of saying that they're doubling down on the release model, so y'all are gonna have to deal with it until it's done. And with how long it is, you'll probably finish the entire series by 2024. Man, I wish I was joking, but reminder that the first batch came out in December of 2021. And y'all are finally getting more literally 10 months after. I totally forgot that part 6 was even out, so I can't imagine what it's like to be a fan. Netflix is still getting the numbers they want from releasing episodes, so it's possible this will happen again in the future. Sucks to say, but I gotta be real with you guys. Switching over to the industry side, since Netflix ain't stopping with bad ideas, we got 2 more live actions coming our way. The first being Yu Yu Hakusho. I've already expended everything I have to say about live action takes on anime on the last episode, so not gonna retread all of that. I will say, bold move to adapt another cel animated 90s anime, cause y'all are never gonna capture that aesthetic. The other is a live action Death Note. Again, they really looked at the response to their first take and said, let's do it again, why not? It has been done by the Duffer Brothers, who everyone knows from Stranger Things. That's actually better than who we usually get attached to these, but just leave Death Note alone at this point. Hollywood has already failed the material before and it's already a legacy series, so why even do it? Just let anime be anime, is that too much to ask? Apparently yes. By the way, Netflix lost another 1 million subs in Q2 of this year. Not related, just letting you know. Despite all the garbage Netflix is doing, they occasionally do good, which is kinda hard to believe, but yeah. Like with their animated Ultraman movie that we got our first look at. This technically isn't true since I've been following the director Shannon Tyndall and he announced this I think over a year ago. It was actually his banner for a while, so it's been an open secret. This is what the movie is gonna look like, leaning heavily into animation. But if you guys want more confirmation on why this is gonna be good, don't worry, I got you. Shannon being the creator and writer of Kubo and the Two Strings, which is now homework that I expect to have done by the next episode. Co-director is John Aoshima, who directed lots of episodes of DuckTales and Gravity Falls, and this is only scratching the surface since they're industry vets who have worked on so many things that I can't name them all that you def have seen. If you're not even at least interested, I'll be surprised. Shannon has been working on it for a while, but it's still some time away since his focus is on his new show Lost Ollie, which should be out by the time you're watching this vid. So check it out if you want to get a taste of his work. It's also directed by one of the guys who did Spider-Verse, so that's even more incentive to check out Lost Ollie, just saying. Derailed a bit there, but I just want to say it's a really good time to be an Ultraman fan, and I can't wait for the movie. It looks freaking awesome. Alright, time for the licensing block, which Anime Expo didn't skimp out on. The biggie being that the Macross franchise is finally coming to the US. A deal was formed with Nozomi Entertainment to release Frontier and Delta on Blu-ray. The franchise has been in a very complicated legal situation for decades. So complicated that I will never make a video on it since I ain't dealing with that just by taking a peep at it. It's a huge franchise in Japan that the US has missed out on for decades, and this is the first time anything with the name Macross is headed over here. This can be the domino that leads to more entries getting the same treatment. Nozomi Entertainment being the perfect choice since them handling a legacy sci-fi mecha franchise is their bread and butter. Nozomi is the licensing distribution side of Right Stuff, for any that aren't aware, and have handled other classic series like Utena and Martian successor Nadeshiko. Classics don't just end there, since Discotheque Media was also part of July with another Discotheque Day during Otagon. As always, I'm gonna link the thread below if you guys want to see everything announced since it's a lot and most of them might not interest everybody, so gonna go through the biggies. We got the Tales of Symphonia anime for the first time on physical and English. The new look on Project Echo 3, which looks amazing in HD. I just watched the first one and loved it, so can't wait to catch up and get this bad boy. The long-awaited sub-release of the original Shaman King is creeping its way to the finish line. This one's been a long time coming, but the wait has been validated since it's gonna be in clean 1080p thanks to AstroRes. Which, to make super simple, is an AI upscaler they helped out with that keeps textures rather than smoothing out the image, so it's officially the best version of the anime. I saved the best ones for last, which got the biggest reaction out of me. The Hayao Miyazaki and Kyosuke Mikuriya classic Sherlock Hound has not only been snagged, but got the Echo treatment. Getting a brand new HD transfer, their own restoration on the English version, the dub pilot promos from every version, anything you could think of is on these discs, it's crazy. This is on the level of Eiko and their Cagliostro release of being packed with so many extras on the disc, it's insane. From liner notes to an art gallery, it's up there as one of the pinnacle examples as to why Discotech Media is the best company you've never heard of. This show is really important since this is Miyazaki before Ghibli, which might have been apparent with the art of the show. It's relatively unknown even for the biggest fan of his, so if you've ever wanted to see him do a show rather than a movie, you got 26 episodes waiting for you. They are on Crunchyroll if you don't want to wait, but it won't be this version of it. This and everything I've mentioned will be out by the end of the year, so you won't have to wait much for any of these. And finally, the one me and everybody else that knows about Discotech have been waiting for, actual years been asking for it, the original Urusei Yatsura is coming to America on Blu-ray. All 195 episodes across 4 box sets. Don't know if it's an actual box set since the Blu-ray art shows a 1 on it, so it may just be individual cases. Which would make sense if it was SD on Blu-ray disc, but seeing its actual HD, I don't know how they're gonna do it. It's not gonna have any extras, most likely due to legal issues, so it'll probably open more space up on the disc to jam more episodes on it. I'm just happy this classic series is finally accessible and that Discotech is gonna do so well with it, since they've been the ones championing it for years with all the movie releases. This ain't coming anytime soon, so we gotta wait till 2023 for it. Again, there were many more things announced with a lot of detail, so check out the thread if you're interested and follow Discotech to stay up to date. Super quick ones, the Vinland Saga dub is now up on streaming. Which one, you ask? Yes. Both the Netflix and Sentai one are now available in the US. The timing was just too funny not to bring up, literally the same day. So if you want to compare, you'll be able to catch them on Netflix and High Dive. It's been a while since we've had some weird fun news, and July wanted to make up for that. Going from cons that are beloved to ones with a bad history, we're talking about Anime Matsuri, who announced they formed their own recording studio with 2 anime already wrapped. Seems like good news, but when you look into the details, it's hella suspect. First off, the con itself is infamous for having several stories about sexual assault from the ones who run it. So much so that while looking into it, I found 2 pages chronicling it from 2 separate groups of people. Aside from that, having the con open in the middle of the pandemic during 2021, to getting an international cosplayer into jail. A lot of voice actors have spoken against them and just don't go to it. There are just too many stories to name them all here, so with the recording studio, some things are a little odd. They already have 2 anime completed, meaning that they've licensed them, and the best way to explain why this is weird would be to go through the usual motions of a dub getting produced. When a company wants something dubbed, they usually contract a recording studio to do it. Since they licensed it, they get all the materials and provide it to said studio, where they cast, record, and mix all the audio. When it's done, they send back the finished product to the contractor since they handle all the distribution from streaming to home video. So going back to Anime Matsuri, I think you can see the problem. They licensed 2 anime with no way of releasing them, which got confirmed at the con. The shows themselves make the situation even more interesting, one only being 25 minutes while the other is a set of shorts with no length anywhere. They don't even have an MAL score, meaning that no one on the entire website has actually seen it or cared enough to rate it. With the tiny length and obscurity, it's pretty clear that both were on the cheaper end and that's how they snagged them. The lower cost is probs why they announced it despite no release model. They put themselves in a corner with these 2 factors because they have to find a distributor, but anyone in anime wouldn't want to work with them because of the negative association as well as helping your competition. The blow to your rep would be worth it if it were titled with tons of weight, but none even have MAL scores. If we look in the physical sense, it doesn't work out either. Let's say they do find a way to release this stuff. Both being sub an hour makes it kinda impossible to sell. Length is what determines prices. Miniseries, despite the shorter episode time, usually add up to at least an hour, so they can be priced like a movie. Anything below that would be sold at a low profit margin that it really wouldn't be worth it. It's why anime like Komori and Yatogame-chan aren't gonna get a physical since it's a hard ask to pay for something that's 30 minutes. There are exceptions, but usually it's something with high quality or brand recognition that leverages the risk. Space Patrol Lolico having Trigger fame and Goemon's Blood Spray being a really good example of a clean 50 minutes. So Anime Matsuri can either sell them separately at a low price that wouldn't do anything or combine them to edge an hour. Them being obscure, no one would know they were even out and would want to buy them since they're unknown. On top of all of that, they also lied to get the voice cast to work with them, creating a fake company name that was formed a few months ago, where the address is straight up a dirt lot. Anime Matsuri knew no one would work with them if they used their name. If you need proof they're not great, take it from Anime Matsuri. The dubs have been done for a long time since some of the cast are not the most favorable now. That the others on there wouldn't have worked on it if it was done recently. Some even showing dismay about these projects. Whatever your opinion is on all of this, you gotta admit that this was done very poorly. If you want to support them, they made it impossible to do so. The whole thing sounds like someone had a great idea on paper without knowing what they were getting themselves into. Yeah, this was a wild one, and boy howdy, I am gonna keep my eye on it. Also, before we move on, don't support Anime Matsuri. They are a very bad company for many more reasons I couldn't even name here. I wish I was joking. Okay, let's get back to the usual. NFTs. It's been a while since No Fun Today, but we have a good one this episode, so check this out.
I am Princess Sakuma, the rightful ruler of Sakai Island.
I am Lady Akiamanto, and you will not win today.
I am Lady Fuyu.
Yeah, if I had to look at the NFT anime, so do you. And you know what? I gotta give them props. This is exactly what you would imagine if someone told you NFT anime. I very much appreciate that they didn't put much time into the audio mixing, or how it's completely different character models for the final shot. Also, most generic name ever, 10 out of 10, perfect, you couldn't do any better than that, love it. They even messed up their transition because you can see the prior shot before it cuts. You're supposed to cut with the flash. Like, guys, this is basic editing. The timeline even shows you the frames left out. Like, you're making it a little too easy. Come on. Yeah, this exists, and it was too good not to show. I'm sorry. Not really. Okay, time for trailers. This is gonna be a short one since we got a lot of trailers at the beginning. Y'all like basketball? Well, good news. We got a teaser for the upcoming Slam Dunk movie, where you get your first look at the animation being done in completely stylized CG, which seems like a big disservice to the original manga, but it's actually being directed and written by the man himself, the legendary Takahiko Inoue. So if he wanted it in CG, it's prob for a good reason. Makes sense why his art got translated so well to the different medium. Some of the best teasers I've seen in a while, so check them out with the audio, it is very much worth it. New trailer for Gundam The Witch from Mercury. Not much to add here, just more Gundam goodness that gives me IBO vibes. It's a goodie, so check it out, link below. Time for the nice story to wrap things up. I feel like I forgot a certain anime from Anime Expo, one from my fave director. Oh yeah, Panty and Stocking. Y'all really thought I wasn't gonna bring it up, get out of here. Shout out to Trigger Support on Twitter for chronicling the entire situation since 2018. They gave us this meme that sums up the whole situation. With Gainax getting sued by Studio Kara for 100 million yen. The president of Gainax getting arrested with Kara and Trigger taking over. It's like a reverse corporate takeover where the artists win, getting back everything they ever worked on. It sounds too good to be real, but here we are and it's beautiful. I wanted to save this for the nice story because fans have been waiting 12 years for this. But not only for that, but to celebrate the guys at Trigger as well. They haven't been able to touch the series for a decade after leaving Gainax. Them finally being able to follow up their swan song of their last studio must be an incredible feeling for them. Like reuniting with a loved one, especially when you know how much love and care they put into the stuff they make. The rare time where the evil bad corporation was defeated and the creatives came out on top. If that isn't a feel-good story to wrap things up on, I don't know what is. I guess it's finally time to watch the original season, and for millions of others, a rewatch since y'all are gonna be reuniting with them real soon. And that's it for the anime recap. What was your fave story? Prop, panty, and stocking, which I totally get. Are y'all gonna snag any discotheque stuff? What about that Ultraman movie? How you feeling about it? Do you like my new wrap-up music? Comment below in the comments, because I love to read them. But as always, bye guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.